We're going to run a mayoral election using instant runoff voting. We have a city with 4 precincts, 4 sections of town. We've got 4 candidates. Each of them is strong in 1 precinct. We've got Val on the north side, Gary on the east side, Suja on the waterfront, and Robert on the south side. Now with instant runoff voting, the candidate that has the least amount of votes is eliminated, but the voters who voted for them, their second choice, is distributed to that candidate. Now, before we run the algorithm, can you guess who's going to win on this election? Well, if we take a look at who has the least number of votes, that would be Robert, and therefore Robert is eliminated. But if you notice, the voters voted for Suja as a second choice, so therefore those votes are distributed to Suja. So now we've got 30 plus 50 equals 80 for Suja. Now we're going to count the rest of the votes, and we have Gary at 60 and Val at 70. Well, let's do a redistribution of votes again. It looks like Gary has the least number of votes, and therefore he will be eliminated, but his votes will be distributed to the voter's second choice, and that is Val. So 60 votes then will go to Val's 70. So 60 to 70 is 130, and Val is the winner. Let's run this a little bit different. Now Val knew that the south side was not his strong point. He knew that many of the residents on the south side just didn't even know him. In fact, they ranked him last in this case. He spent a lot of time on the south side getting to know the voters, going door to door, shaking a lot of hands, talking about the issues, and letting them know that they should rank him first. He had a lot of volunteers go out and spent a great deal of time campaigning, getting to know the voters. Again, they really didn't know him. Well, his hard work paid off. It worked out well for Val, and he got them to switch their votes and actually rank him high, number 1. So they got to know him and felt that he was the best person for the job. He got to be the coalition candidate, broad support across the city. So let's add up the votes. Val had 30 plus 70, so now he has 100. Again, before we run the instant runoff voting algorithm, can you guess who's going to win? We take a look and see who is the weakest candidate, and that would be Suja. She's got 50 votes, and she is eliminated, and her votes get transferred to Gary. We've got 60 plus 50 is 110, Gary is the winner. Surprising, isn't it? When Val was ranked dead last on the south side, he won. But when he gained the support of the south side and they ranked him number 1 and he became the coalition candidate with more support across the city, he lost. How did that happen? It has to do with some of the shuffling around of the votes. Let's take a look. Val worked harder and lost using instant runoff voting. Val received more support and lost using instant runoff voting. Val became the consensus candidate and lost using instant runoff voting. Val and his supporters should be pretty upset that he lost when he gained more support across the city, and he would have won if he had less support in some of the areas of the city. Now, this was a hypothetical example, but in real life it happened in Aspen, Colorado in May 2009. According to the Aspen Daily News, an analysis of the May election results showed that if 75 people who had voted for their candidate as their first choice had instead voted for him as their second place choice, he would have won the election. That's why a federal lawsuit is being filed in Aspen concerning instant runoff voting. And also, Aspen is asking their voters in November if they want to scrap the instant runoff voting method. You see, there's a lot of problems with instant runoff voting. On the surface, it sounds pretty good, but strange things can certainly happen, and have happened. When it happens to your candidate, you're surely going to be disappointed. Learn more about voting methods with Mathematics and Democracy, Designing Better Voting and Fair Division Procedures by Professor Stephen J. Brams of NYU, or type Approval Voting, Range Voting, or Stop Instant Runoff Voting into any search engine. The more you know, the less you fear.